Thank you guys for having me on today. I was asked to kind of recently, Stash, we added some dataset transformers up to the upstream repository, and we were asked if we would like to kind of explain why we did that, what was the use case for it, and then explain our experience, because this was also our first time contributing up to an open source project. So how easy was it? Were there any snags or anything like that? And spoiler alert, it was pretty easy. There we go. Wait a second. There we go. So a little bit of background. My name's Eric. Obviously, I'm joining you guys from Austin, Texas. I've been a data engineer at Stash for 2 years, and Stash is an industry-leading subscription platform empowering everyday Americans to build wealth. As you may know, middle-class Americans are struggling to build wealth. The US stock market is the largest generator of wealth in our history, and yet 45% of Americans aren't currently invested. Majority of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Stash is a personalized financial platform with tools for investing, banking, insurance, and more that helps people grow their wealth for the long term. More on that after our presentation. So this journey was back last year in Q2. Our team was really looking at what was out there in the data catalog offerings, just both from a paid vendor standpoint and as also from the open source community. And like many of y'all, we ended up choosing DataHub because we really fell in love with the product. I mean, it was one of the only ones that really matched our technology footprint, and just the openness of the platform meant it could grow as we grew. Some of the cool features like data lineage, the business glossary, stuff like that were really appealing to us. And as we knew we wanted something with strong support, this open source community seemed really active, really strong. And as we will learn, it was that's a huge benefit for us, and probably for a lot of others as well. In Q3, we started using this tool internally and started onboarding some of our business teams on it, trying to kind of capture their knowledge, capture what they know, working with their SMEs and analysts. We identified kind of like low-hanging fruit kind of things to add to DataHub to make sure that the user experience out of the box was going to be really strong. So, you know, on top of just the metadata that comes from the various platforms that we're ingesting, we wanted to get, you know, like Confluence links and create some tags, add to the business glossary, really help the first users get familiar with the platform and have, you know, that wealth of data right there at their fingertips. But the big question was, how do you add these into DataHub efficiently, right? We knew we would, just from these meetings with the business teams, we would have like, you know, okay, these data sets need these terms and these tags and these links and stuff like that. But there wasn't really a way to get out of the box to get that information in the DataHub. There's the GraphQL API, which kind of was the obvious solution. We'll just read it in, send it up, blah, 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 blah. It works. But reading into kind of the source code, we identified that, hey, there's dataset transformers out there that already modify the dataset entities. What if we can just use those ourselves to add like tags or business glossary terms? So that's kind of talking with the project management. We had some leeway to explore that. We had the fallback option of the GraphQL API, and we had the flexibility to see if, you know, we could learn something from this, learn not only like open source community stuff like that, but actually just the inner workings of DataHub itself. So we used this dataset transformer that was already available, this pattern add dataset ownership, and the config is on the screen right here. Basically what this does is in the rules section, there's a regex pattern and then an array of URNs. And the dataset transformer is just going to apply all of those URNs in the array to whatever is in the regex pattern. So we're like, yeah, this should be pretty straightforward to copy over for glossary terms and tags and stuff like that. So it turns out it was pretty straightforward. If you're not familiar with how this works, this is a very, very quick overview because, don't want to waste too much time here. But when the pipeline runs, right before it writes every record to whatever sink is defined, it passes it to this transform function. And the transform function just says, if there's a transformer, transform the record. And it does it on the right side of the screen using this method called transform1, which you can see takes in a metadata change event and outputs a metadata change event. So that's what we'll be extending. And as an example of this, here's what we did for the dataset terms. And you can see that on the left side of the screen, the dataset terms just extends that dataset transformer. And most importantly, that transform1 method actually does something now. It doesn't just pass. And we use the MCE builder to add a glossary term to this, to the MCE, and then pass it back. So that was already implemented by that pattern add ownership class. So we literally was just like copy paste. That's how straightforward and easy it was. And then on the right side of the screen is kind of the magic that makes this pattern add dataset transformer work. There is already this config model that takes in the regex patterns and parses it through. So we really just copied that implementation and then used it. And that's kind of the crux of this all. This was our first time contributing, so it wasn't, we didn't go for this huge feature or anything. We just thought, hey, we have this problem, maybe some others have the same problem, let's explore it and contribute it back up. If the community doesn't like it, they'll always just pass on it, right? So the risk was really low. We had the flexibility from the project management. And most importantly, I think we had the community to kind of back us up. Reading through the Slack channels, reading through the GitHub, that was pretty invaluable to our experience. Just like, oh, we see people are having this problem setting up, the dev environment, blah, 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 blah. It's really easy to fix. So with the documentation, everything, setup, testing, all that, the contributing experience was pretty straightforward, really easy. I think we had like a few comments from Shashanka and the team, but honestly, it was really straightforward. And I really can't stress how invaluable that Slack communication was, using that search function, a lot of good information's on the community already. So thank you, everyone. Thank you to the DataHub team, Maggie, Shashanka, John, Gabe, all of your time, all of the help and guidance you guys have given us, all of the contributors. Without you guys, obviously, we probably wouldn't have gotten as far as we did, even with an addition as simple as that. And thank you all to the Stash team for all your support. And if you're interested in joining our team, there's a link on your screen right there, stash.com/about/careers. We're growing. And if our mission sounds like something you'd love to help build out, please reach out to me either on the Slack or on LinkedIn. I mean, if you have questions about the DataHub transformers as well, feel free to reach out to me as well. I'm always around. Thanks again for having me, guys.